So welcome back to the Happy Place Diaries. I'm Jerry, and in this video we're doing a little bit of get ready for winter. It's dropping down into the low 40s and mid to upper 30s now here in Oregon, and now that we're coming into our third winter here in the Montana, we've come up with a little bit of a better plan, but it did create an issue that we were probably going to have to address at some point anyway. So let's get into that. So as with most RVs, they're going to come with 30-pound propane tanks. Our Montana comes with two 30-pound propane tanks, and our old Passport also came with two 30-pound propane tanks. So each 30-pound propane tank is 7 gallons of propane. So what we noticed last year was that we were cranking through some propane, and so having 14 gallons of propane on board just wasn't enough. It was enough. It just meant that we had to go refill our tanks like every 3 to 4 days, because like I said, we were running our furnace essentially 24/7. So this year we took a look at maybe upgrading to a 100-pound tank. A 100-pound tank is essentially 25 gallons of propane. The problem with a 100-pound tank is getting it either refilled by myself, taking it to a place to have it refilled, or having somebody come and refill it here at the trailer. If I'm going to put it in the back of my truck, well, then I run into the problem of having to get it out of my truck and then hooking it up. What we realized is if we upgraded to 40-pound tanks, not only would they fit in this space right here, but with the two 30-pound tanks that we currently have and two 40-pound tanks, which is essentially 9.5 gallons of propane, that would put us at about 35 gallons of propane, which will definitely get us about a week and a half. And that's not using it sparingly. The beauty of that is I can replenish those as needed and never be without propane. So I don't have to drain both tanks, then take them both down and not have the furnace running. Now I can run two 40-pounders, put the two 30-pounders in, and you get the point. So here's the issue. With the 30-pound tanks, they fit with plenty of room up here. 40-pound tank brings it up to about right here, up there, which is no issue. The issue, and I don't know why, but they're the same diameter as these tanks, but this retainer band does not fit on the 40-pound tanks. Not a problem. You'll notice I only have one. These come with two because they break. And this one actually, on the other side, just broke. And this one is about to. So my project today is I'm going to replace these bands with something, and I'm going to also change out tanks today. But anyway, I'll show you what I'm going to do to address this issue here and do away with this situation altogether. So here you can see that we have a 40-pound tank in that spot, and this is broke, so we'll be changing that out also. But the 40-pound tank fits in, good enough that you could still turn it on and off. It still fits with the gas stop in there, and we didn't have to reconfigure anything up here. The regulator stayed right where it was at, and having that 40-pound tank in there just fits perfectly. So I'm going to take this one out and replace this strap first, and then I'll change out the tank on the other side. We put the 40-pound tanks in on Veterans Day, and we have been running pretty much nonstop since Veterans Day on that tank. And so it's been exactly 7 days since we put that tank in, and it is working great. And I just lifted it. It feels like we've only used about half of that. So already I'm happy with the fact that we have those tanks. And let me show you what we're doing here. To store the tanks, I've got them back here. So there's the second 40, and then I have 3 30-pound tanks actually. The one that's in there is my reserve tank. So all of these are at 100% full, and I have Mopica sensors on those that tell me that they're 100% full. And then I've just got them chained up because I don't want them walking away. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to change out this one right here is going to go on the passenger side. I don't need that one just yet, although I might put it in for the weekend because we are heading out of town. So the issue with these retaining bands is that they just snap, and these little pop rivets in here, they break off. And there used to be another one down in here, and that broke a year ago. And I just been working off of this one, and it's just held on with a couple sheet metal screws. So the solution that I'm going to do so that it will fit all of the tanks, no matter where they're positioned, is I bought these Husky 8-foot 1-inch lashing straps, and they've got just a buckle closure. I'm going to use the existing sheet metal screws, but I'm going to add some washers just to keep on top of the strap. So I'm going to go ahead and take this band off, put one of these bands on, and a single retaining band works. I've been using a single metal retaining band for the last year, but I'll show you this real quick. Put that down. This basically just has a cinch type buckle that will, and I'll just cut the excess. I'm not going to need 8 feet, but 1 inch with a cinch, and that's going to hold things in place, keep it from bouncing down the road, whatever. I don't think they're ever going to fall off anyway, but anyway, this has a 500-pound working load, so for a 40-pound tank, I think we're going to be safe. So let's get this thing off, and we'll get this thing on, and then we'll change out the tanks. All right, to pop that out, just need a 3/8 bit, and that'll come right on out. Now what I'm going to want is the buckle to be right up front. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pocket knife and create a starter hole here. And get the screw in the hole. Okay, there we go. And that will hold it. Okay, so let's put that 40-pound tank back in. Okay. Sadie stuff. Okay, so for the strap, and I'll find out where I can cut it, and then I'll just cut it. Okay. that strap holds. And just a note, when you're using a gas stop, you want that to be straight up and down for it to work properly. So you want that straight up and down, because the mechanics of the gas stop is inside of here. When this is pressurized and there's gas flowing through here, it's pushing a BB up into this channel right here. And as soon as there's a loss in pressure, so you have a cut line or a leak somewhere, that BB drops and it plugs this valve. And so then you don't have any ability for gas to flow through. Prime. There we go. And we're good to go. And there's no leaks. So we're good to go there. Now all I have to do is trim off this loose piece, and then I'm going to burn the edge. So I'm going to leave a little bit. And I'll burn that down so that it doesn't come undone, and make it easier to thread back through there. But that will hold. Okay, we're going to do that on the other side, and this project will be done. Okay. I think it's really important that you consider this kind of stuff as the weather gets colder, and what, you know, especially if you're living full-time, you know, what is your level of convenience that you need to maintain. And what we learned last year, and we had a harsh winter last year, but we're supposed to have an even worse winter this year, is I don't want to run to the propane place, you know, you all are wherever you get your propane filled every 3 days or every 4 days. It didn't make any sense for us. And so going with extra tanks, and now that we have 5 tanks, you know, 2 40-pounders and 3 30-pounders, we have plenty of propane, and they're calling for a really, really harsh winter this year again. So we just wanted to get out in front of it. And what we've noticed is this last week has been like really cold, and we're burning propane. So anyway, I'm gonna get this tank changed out and trim that, and we'll call it good. Okay, just a couple things before we head inside. This project is done over here. This is my spare 30-pounder, and then I've got the 40-pounder over there. I just wanted to show you that we are using the Mopica, and this is showing that we're at about 76% on the spare tank here. And so we've got you know, plenty of fuel between the 2 tanks to keep going for the winter. Well, we're gonna have to refill. But I also wanted to just mention again with this gas stop, a really good idea, especially if you have a 5th wheel or even a travel trailer and you've got those front compartments that you put the sleeve over. A good idea is to get these 90-degree fittings to go onto your gas stop, because this allows me to close the door. It allows me to hook up everything without bending the cable. And I went with the braided hose because it's just a little bit more durable. And then once again, make sure that this is up and down, and then prime it really good. You know, 3 or 4, maybe 6 pumps, and you're not going to get a super accurate reading on that, but it'll let you know that you do have gas flowing through. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this propane tank off for right now. We only run one tank at a time. Now you can have both tanks on and have them, you know, feeding, but what we found is if you do that, you will burn through fuel a heck of a lot faster than if you only run one tank at a time. Okay, so that's it. Just a really quick DIY easy solution to a problem that I know that a lot of you have out there. If you like these kinds of videos, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section below of stuff that you'd like to see in the future. My ears are about to fall off. It's so cold out here. And so we will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming along.